My name is Fiona Blades. I work at MESH, and I'm delighted to be here this afternoon on behalf of the Research Liberation Front to announce the Ginny Valentine Badge of Courage Awards for 2015. Ginny Valentine brought semiotic techniques to the industry many years ago, and she set up semiotic solutions back in 1988. And this was something that she actually won numerous awards for during her career. But sadly, she died relatively young, and after her death, her son, Phil Alexander, came to see me and John Griffiths, who set up the Research Liberation Front, to see if we could do something in her honor. And he said to us at the time that in spite of all the awards that she'd won, the one that meant the most to her was being voted by her peers as the #1 revolutionary of all time by the Research Liberation Front. And that was why we felt that we should set something up. And there was one thing that really characterized Ginny, and that was her bravery. And we felt there weren't any awards within the industry. There's lots for innovation, lots for return on investment, but there's not really anything for innovation, for bravery. So we felt that this would fill a gap. So today we're here to celebrate some outstanding examples of bravery within the industry, and that we really hope that these will inspire you in your everyday work, because sometimes we forget how brave people can be within the industry. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors and the organizers, without whom really these awards wouldn't flourish. There's Green Book, who've been very supportive of us. This is now our 4th year with the Ginny Valentine Badge of Courage Award, and we're very grateful to IIeX for giving us the platform, not just at the Atlanta, North America IIeX, but throughout the whole year to talk about bravery within the industry. And also to KL Communications for their continuing support in the crowdsourcing platform. We had a fantastic group of judges, and I'm delighted I'm going to be announcing the 3 that we have here today. But before I do, let me introduce 2 that couldn't make it today. First of all, Vanilla Jackson, who is CEO of Hall & Partners in the UK. And secondly, Christine Walker, who is Research Director at Alliance Strategic Research in Australia. So I hope by that alone, you'll see that actually we've had a very broad geographical spread of judges that have been here. We also made sure that they represented both the client side and the agency side. And we have in person today, we have Roberto Simrot from Coca-Cola. We have Kristin Luck, who is Sales and Marketing Strategy for Growth Hacking in the US. And we also have Ashley Chauvin, who is Global Insights at Citi. So some fantastic judges that have been able to have a look at the different nominations that we've received. As you can imagine, these awards always generate lots of debate and discussion. What exactly is bravery? And that's always part of the fun, because for one person, something that sounds brave may not for another. But with a fair amount of debate amongst the panel, we did come to some conclusions. And each of the awards will be presented by one of the judges tonight, or in the words of one that, the 2 people that can't be here. So we are on to the winners now. And I'd like to ask Kristin, first of all, to come forward to announce our first winner, whose work was actually spotted at IIeX in Amsterdam and was nominated by one of the attendees at that function, Cornelia Wilson from Pernod Ricard. So over to you, Kristin.
Yes. So I was thrilled to see this person's name on the list, because I also witnessed her presentation in Amsterdam, and I have to say that it took an incredible set of balls, or in her case, ovaries, to present this presentation that she did, dressed as Yoda. If you've ever spent a lot of time at research conferences, as I'm sure most of us have, you know that by the time you get to the afternoon, you're in a semi-coma, you've had a heavy lunch, you might be feeling a little sleepy, and this incredible woman gave, I think, the presentation of a lifetime at this event, and also presented some very cutting-edge research. Aside from that, I think she probably has the best name that there is, and also a very exciting new company name. So I wanted to present the award to Kristin. Do we have a slide?
We do.
Here we go.
Yes.
Kristin
here we
Hickey
go.
from Ruby Cha Cha, who I swear is the bravest presenter that I have ever seen. She has fabulous style, and she spells her name the correct way. So, Kristin, where is your...
And there we go.
Kristin Hickey. And what's your new company name? Also, a very cool company name. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And next up, it is actually you, Ashley, and you're going to be talking about the award that was given to Simon Liddington and Matt Lynch for putting all their chips onto the table. Over to you.
I don't actually have the backstory that Kristin has, or the resemblance in name between myself or the award winning. But I wanted to speak specifically about an aspect of courage that these two displayed. Fiona already alluded to it by putting all your chips on the table, but really the way I describe it is the ability to take a risk. Take a risk and believe in your vision, and that's exactly what these two did. They strained their families, they depleted their funds, and it actually pulled through for them, and they were able to launch Big Sofa, which is a rather innovative, an innovative insights tool to be able to display insights through visual, or video actually, in fact.
Yep.
So if they were here today, I would, that's all I have for them, but that's why we nominated them and selected them for the Courage Award.
Thank you very much, Ashley. I think we should give them a round of applause anyway, and then we'll let them know. And I'll be taking their award back to London. The next award, I'd like to ask Roberto, if you would, Roberto, to talk about Munkid's reward. And obviously, he tried to get here today, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to get a visa. So over to you, Roberto.
So I have the pleasure to present the award to Dr. Daher, who unfortunately could not be here today. So many times, us as researchers complain about how hard it is to pull the field work in a location. It's raining, it's snowing, you go through all the hazards. But Dr. Daher and his company have something special because the place where he has conducted research is Iraq. He did the first ever public poll in Iraq. And it was an unanimous vote across all the judges that an award should be given to him for his effort. Since then, he's done over 1 million surveys in areas of conflict, so spanning Iraq, Libya, Syria, and Yemen, and his team goes through a lot of work and a lot of effort to pull the surveys for many research agencies that we all work with in those regions. So for all this, we all believe that Dr. Daher deserved an award on bravery.
Thank you very much indeed, Roberto. And next up, we have Ashley, who is going to be talking about this on behalf of Kristin. So here is the citation that Kristin gave. And this is to Richard Gilmore for being radical in a conservative sector.
All right. The nomination of Richard Gilmore stood out because of the bravery demonstrated in taking a different approach to researching in this category. When everyone in the category is working with doctors and treating them as rational agents, charting their emotional influences takes some bravery and potentially quite confronting to doctors. Stepping out of the mold and bringing the NLP semiotics, discourse analysis, ethnography was as the foundation of the success of this now global agency. And Richard also sent an email because he, in response to receiving the award, so I'm going to go ahead and read that as well. I think the part here that was coming, before I read that though, I think the part here that's important is that he's breaking out and doing something new and interesting in an industry that has a lot of limitations. And that's hard to do, especially in pharmaceuticals or in industries that are more regulated, such as banking. And that's the real essence of and importance of why we nominated Richard. So let me just read what Richard sent along as well. Sorry, everyone, I won't be able to get to Atlanta, but delighted to have it announced. It was bringing in Ginny to conduct some semiotics on a project I was doing for the then ICI, which introduced me to this methodology in the pharmaceutical industry worldwide. So that's really interesting. I didn't realize that he had that connection. So thank you, Richard, and
Thank you very much indeed, Ashley, and let's congratulate Richard. Okay, and now the next winner of the award is Darren Hanley of Hope and Anchor. And I had you down, Ashley, to talk about this, but I'm just wondering whether we do a little bit of a group discussion with the judges. So would any of the judges like to talk about Darren's nomination here for ignoring client resistance and rejection? Would anyone like to speak to that and why they felt that that was good? Brilliant.
Well, I get a lot of client resistance and rejection in my career. Nobody ever wants to change anything. I think that one of the tenets of bravery is tenacity, and that is going in the face of objections and resistance. And I think Darren, in particular, really displays, pushing forward with something despite what people are telling you to do. And I think that goes across any sector, from technology to analytics. It's very, very tough to push through new thoughts and ideas. And so I think recognizing somebody that has done that exceptionally well is important.
The part that I wanted to appreciate here was his persistence, and that goes exactly to what you're saying, Kristin. You have to be persistent and push through things that other people might not be latching onto, really rejecting. Yeah. The nomination actually had he actually was able to turn his client around and get to the deeper insights that he was looking for. So I think that's a real win. I mean, that's where you see bravery really being that dynamic, or personality really being an aspect of being successful.
Well, anything you'd like to say, Roberto, as a client yourself?
Sure.
Yeah,
Kristin talked about being on the supplier side and facing resistance from clients, but us on the client side is also, we appreciate when researchers take a risk and tell us, no, I hear you, that's what you want, but let me try something different, because I believe it's going to give you higher, deeper, better insights. So for that, we really thought Darren did an outstanding job and deserved the award.
Excellent. Well, let's all congratulate Darren while we're here. So well done, Darren. And we have our final bravery award to hand out this evening. This person, Michelle, is our youngest bravery award winner. I should mention, to be totally impartial here, that very recently Michelle did join MESH, but her bravery didn't relate to MESH, and I clearly took a step back, and I had nothing to do with the judging. So I just want to make that clear, although I am extremely grateful to Michelle for stepping in for me today, because I had travel problems, and so she's already been to all my speed dates for me. So I'm very grateful for that little bit of bravery that's come from Michelle. So if I can hand over to you, Kristin, to talk a little bit about the bravery for Michelle, and I think that in particular there's a citation from Vanilla.
Yeah. So Vanilla Jackson, who's the CEO of Holland Partners, was kind enough to do a write-up, Michelle, which I'm going to read to you in a minute. But I did want to sort of re-emphasize what you were just saying about Michelle stepping in today, because Fiona's flight was delayed. She was not sure what time, and she had 4 or 5 speed dates set up. And I actually saw Michelle in the hall right outside eBay, and I said to her, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yep." Like she's going to totally nail it. And I have to tell you that if I was in that stage of my career, I would have been a blubbering fool in the corner. So kudos, Michelle, for stepping up to the plate as Fiona tried to get here. But But from Vanilla, who wrote a very nice note to read you. Michelle showed courage, ingenuity, and imagination stepping up to an urgent challenge facing her client. Many inexperienced researchers would not have had the bravery to act independently and deliver such sound advice. When faced with the dilemma of doing what she believed right and offering the client the advice they needed versus waiting for her boss to wake and so losing her client precious time, she made a confident decision. And just so you kind of understand the backstory behind it, in essence, Michelle received a call sort of after hours from her client about an urgent need that they had. She was rather, new in the industry and had been waiting for her boss to call her and give her permission to move forward, and finally then realized, I really need to do what's right for the client, and proceeded without that permission, which is, I think, so valuable to us at the earlier stages of our career. So it was a very brave, bold move, and so we wanted to recognize Michelle for that. It was a true act of bravery. So, Michelle, congratulations. Do we have her?
Let's get the award. You go first, Michelle, and then I'll pick up your award so that Kristin can give it to you. Here you are.
Perfect. Great. Thank you. Yes, congratulations.
And it's probably worthwhile saying that actually Michelle's bravery did in fact relate to semiotics, interestingly enough, because there was a client that had potential issues with another company thinking that their packs looked the same. And you can imagine how sensitive that issue was. Michelle got back to the client and said they may look similar, but they might communicate differently. So have a look at them using semiotic analysis. That happened, and that was something that the client, clearly, it was an extremely important decision that was taken there to avoid problems. So that also had a semiotic connection. So finally, I'd just like us all to congratulate the winners. I do hope that you see some of the differences in terms of the way that people are brave within this industry. I think we should recognize that because there are so many different things that we can do. And if we are brave in our daily work, it will help to take the industry forward and to promote market research. So a big congratulations to all of the winners and very many thanks to the judges. So thank you.